Right, we're going to start on the subject of seed sowing. Seed sowing is can be considered to be relatively challenging because you could argue that almost every species needs its own pattern and system. However, what we're going to do is go through a whole series of different varieties and just look at what has to be done. So firstly, I collect the seed. Generally, I collect the seed in A4 envelopes. I mostly try and reuse old ones, or sometimes I buy them. And you can see this packet's been used many times over the years, and it will hopefully do many more years. Record keeping, very important. So I write down exactly what I've sown and what date. I also keep a list of what seed I collected on which date, so I can see how things change from year to year. And I've been doing this for over 20 years, so it means that there's a lot of changes happened in 20 years in terms of seed ripening times and collection times. Okay, so we'll do something that's surface sown, with an element of having to be done in the autumn, because a lot of seeds need a damper autumn, which is milder and warmer, to break down some of the inhibitors in the seeds. And then once they get the cold winter, because the inhibitors have gone already, then it makes it a lot easier and they can germinate straight away. So we'll fill a seed tray up like that. And for this one, it's going to be surface sown, so the seed tray can be relatively full. You can spend a lifetime cleaning seed. I do spend a lifetime cleaning seed, but in general I'd rather do other things with my time. So sometimes it's just a case of we collect it in a packet and there it is, like that. Tip it out, make sure the packet's empty. Take the name off the packet so it can be reused again. Away it goes. And then what's left here, we will spread out. We'll take out any obvious leaves. We'll take out any obvious stalks that have nothing on. We'll try and break up the seeds a little bit more. This is a plant called Pachyphragma macrophyllum. An extremely good, very tough, hardy, evergreen woodlander. White flowers in the spring, and we never seem to have enough of it. So as you can see, I'm taking out the bigger bits of stalk. And you can do this in a saucer if you want to. You don't have to do it on the seed tray. I'm just being lazy here. So we take out the worst bits of stalk, and then we spread out the pods. These are pods. This plant is in the brassica family, so it has pods just like any other brassica, but they are a slightly different shape and size. And because we're surface sowing, and we might just tamp it down just a little bit like that, we're surface sowing, and that means we don't really cover the seed up. So what I do is I use my favourite grit, which is it's a Cornish grit, and it's a byproduct of making the china clay in Cornwall. And some parts of the granite rot down and produce the clay, and other parts stay really, really firm. So these are essentially crystals of quartzite. And being quartzite, they're translucent, they will let the light through. So I can put this over the seed, and if these seeds have a requirement for a certain amount of light in order to germinate, they will get the light that they need through this grit. Okay, some seeds prefer to be totally covered and prefer to be dark. Other seeds need some light. I'm working on the assumption that this one will actually need some light. I can see a leaf that's a bit big there. Right, then we're going to put a little circle. This is a circle cut out from a fizzy drinks bottle. And then every tray will get covered up with a piece of 1/2 inch wire made to size for the seed tray. And the 1/2 inch is because we're trying to stop mice, we're trying to stop rats, and principally we're trying to stop blackbirds, because blackbirds just want to steal the labels. So these pieces of wire netting have been cut to the exact same size as a seed tray, so they should just slip on over the seed tray like this. Okay, like that. And then the clear bottle ring in the middle, the aim of that is to stop the wire falling down, because what happens is over time and with big feet or whatever, the wire gets pushed down, and the mice can actually get their little hands, thieving hands, through the holes in the wire and get the seeds out. So by putting this ring of plastic bottle here, it raises up the netting to such a degree that the mice should not be able to get their hands in and steal my seeds. Right, the last thing we have to remember to do is to label, and I normally do 3 labels per tray. I do 2 labels down the side, and I'll put them on in a minute, and then I do 1 like this facing up, so with the name visible, so I can actually see what the variety is through the netting. So to get the labels on, I would normally put the labels on before I put the wire on. I just did that just to show you. So it says the name of the variety and it says the year. You can put the whole date if you want, but generally I find the year is enough. So that will do that and that. That will do that. And then our wire netting will go back on again. Like that. Right, and then this particular variety, Pachyphragma, I would think would need to be outside in the winter. It's totally hardy, it won't need any protection, and so this will go outside in a shady place once it's watered and just stay outside the whole winter.